All right. So, this is the first time I am going to take your class. I have had the privilege of taking the first years, but this is the first time I am taking the second years. Right. I was just saying a few minutes ago that I find it a little strange that leadership as a course was not available to be taught here, because after all we are turning out leaders, are we not? So, it is essential that some amount of exposure should be given to some of the principles and the research findings on leadership. Now, leadership is one subject where a huge amount of research has taken place, huge amount of research, and of course, the idea of the research is clear to you, right? Why do they research it? Can anyone tell me? Why research leadership? Why research leadership?
Sir, in the rapidly changing times, only a leader can direct the whole organization in such a manner that it can cope up with the pace of change.
Okay, what he is saying is they can keep performance up, isn't it?
So it's a person specific. It can't be taught in a course with set rules.
He says it can't be taught. Is that what you are saying? Leadership can't be
person
taught.
specific, sir.
Taught.
So try and identify certain drivers of an effective leader. Try and get them in the organization. You should have certain.
See, he's made an important point. I am sorry to interrupt you. He says it can't be taught because it is person, okay, specific, right? Person specific. That's what he has said. What are you saying?
I'm saying that to identify the traits of an effective leader,
Hmm.
then try and infuse them in an organization.
So, are you really saying the same thing then? That it is specific to a person?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that.
You are talking of identifying traits
Yes, sir.
of who? Of a person.
Leader, of a leader.
Of a leader.
Yes, sir.
So, again it's person specific, isn't it? It's person specific.
So there will be common traits. There will be some common traits of leaders you generally see around in most of the leaders.
Agree with you. But is he not saying the same thing? The focus is on the person, maybe number of persons, isn't it? And what are you searching for? You are searching for traits. You are searching for traits. So, what is the theoretical basis of this statement? Theoretical basis is that for leadership, all right, there must be individuals who possess some traits. Those who don't possess it, they don't qualify for taking leadership roles. Is it not being? Isn't that what is being said?
I would like to disagree with that.
Okay, good. Tell me, Rohit.
Because if you can identify what are the traits in a leader,
Hmm.
then you can always coach a person so that those qualities will be developed in that person and he will evolve as a leader.
Okay, that's another point here made. It's a good point. He said traits are fine. There's someone who isn't born with these traits. You first find out what are the traits which, if possessed by an individual, will make him a leader. And then you simulate that. You then set up coaching classes and you coach people so that they imbibe these traits, and then you have another leader. So, but do you agree with what he's saying? That people are not born with it, they can be taught the traits. Huh?
It may be the case that they haven't felt that they have those qualities. It's just a little bit of coaching will help them realize them.
All right. What you are saying is latent traits. Huh? That means traits are there, but below the surface. It doesn't come out. But again, latent traits. Latent traits. But traits nevertheless. So, as we are discussing now, we are developing an idea. The idea is that yes, people are born with certain traits, which are leadership traits. This is what we have been saying, right? We are also saying at the same time there are people who are not born, or born without leadership traits, And then we say, but those who have been born without leadership trait, they can be coached and taught the leadership traits. So that at the end of the day, whether you are born with it or you are trained to imbibe that, you become kind of equal. You can be leaders. So we've come to that conclusion. But then someone said in the beginning that it can't be taught. You either have it or you don't have it. So this is a kind of a stalemate. So why do you have so much research then? Huge body of research on this. Why? On leadership.
Sir, research can.
Let Polas say.
I feel one reason might be that establishing these common traits is a bit of a problem. There may be numerous traits which are specific to a particular situation and which are related to the followers.
Numerous traits. Alright, let's try and put down. What are these traits? Leaders' traits. Leaders' traits. Let's try and list a few traits which you consider are the hallmarks of a leader. Taneja, can you kick it off? One trait.
Ability to take initiatives.
Ability to take initiatives. Ability. Okay, for initiatives. Anyone else? Vision. That means he can see, is it? Foresight. Somebody like Sanjay, he had a third vision. You know, in Mahabharata, that means he can see. Is that what you mean by vision? Is very ambivalent kind of a term, you know. What do you mean? Vision, okay, but what sort of vision? I mean, what do you really mean by vision?
What situations could come in the future and how the organization he is leading.
For the time being, let us accept that he has vision, okay? Has in bracket.
Shape of things to come.
To walk that
One more. Yes?
Ability to influence people.
Ability to influence people. That means he wields power, no? Isn't it?
Without power too.
Without power. Right? Influence people. Influence.
Lead by setting an example.
So walk the talk.
Motivate.
Yes, sir.
I should have the ability. Motivate. Walk the talk, someone said. What do you mean by that? So you don't know, right? Who said walk the talk? Asif, you said.
I said walk the talk.
Then tell me what do you mean by that?
I was saying that be put in simple line and you should be an example of what you're saying. If you're saying
You should be an example of what you're saying.
you say to your children.
I think what you mean is practice what you preach.
Exactly.
What you say, you must do. Why should you do that?
That would be the best example for people, to impress people, so that they will have respect for you and they will follow you.
Respect, very right. Respect. You earn respect that way. What else? What else? Commitment. A leader should have commitment, right? Commitment to what?
To whatever cause he is fighting for or towards any.
Commitment to cause. Come, Devash.
Could you elaborate this word respect?
One
How-
moment.
Could you elaborate this word respect? How we see that a person is respected?
I'll do even better. I'll ask the person who said respect to elaborate it. Tell me, what do you mean by respect?
Sir, if a leader does not command respect,
No. You must have clarity here. He wants to know what is meant by respect?
The subordinates,
Only subordinates, even your seniors, even
your
your
peers,
And
they should value you and your work.
value your. Are you satisfied with that? He says value you and your work. That is respect.
No, sir.
You are not
It is
satisfied.
otherwise. You should value and respect your subordinates and colleagues. Then you will be leading.
No, you may do it, your followers may do it, but the point is what is respect, isn't it? That is what we are. This is very important, in communication, is it not? That we must have crystal clear clarity. And when you go for your job interviews and so on, this is the most important. That's what they want to see. So again, respect. Someone defined it by saying it is value which people feel that you wield or which you have. Yes, Viraj.
Yes, sir.
What do you feel? How would you define respect?
So faith and trust.
Is it a feeling first?
Yeah.
It's a feeling. So we are getting somewhere now. Respect is a feeling, all right? Feeling for what?
Feeling where everybody looks up to you.
Feeling of looking up to someone, isn't it? Because of some reasons. Because of some reasons. Something which you value as an individual, you feel the person of your, or the object of your respect, all right, he has those values. Maybe that's why you respect him. Or admiration. Admiration also can be one of the drivers of respect. You wish that you could be a champion player, like Tendulkar. You wish that you could be that, but you are not. But at the same time, you respect his ability to be a champion in the way he plays. Okay? But nevertheless, having said all that, I think we all agree that respect is something which you look for in a leader. That's a trait. Okay? Anything else? Yes, tell me.
Also, appreciation of your ability and competency. The respect can be born out of this fact.
Yes, it can be. You learned about something called expert power in the first year.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir. French and Raven's theory of power.
Yeah.
There are 5 bases of power and expert power.
Sure. Express power. What is expert power? That means irrespective of your position in the company or in the hierarchy, the fact that you have some special expertise or knowledge or skill, by that very token, you have respect of other people because you can do something or you have something which others don't have. So to some extent, yes, that's true. You will also now start finding out that since, you see, behavioral sciences is a soft science, it's not compartmentalized. Various topics which are taught, basically to get some amount of conceptual ability, on different nuances. But really, they are all interrelated. Power is interrelated with politics. Charisma is interrelated with power, is it not? So many things are interrelated. So we are getting somewhere. So a leader's traits, we are only saying one thing we have said is a leader, all right, has traits which make for leadership. Traits you may be born with or you may acquire it through training and coaching. But once you have it, you're okay, you're a leader for all seasons, all situations, right? All contingencies. Irrespective of any other variable, think about it. What are the variables?
So, for example, I want to give you an example. If we take intelligence as one of the traits which a leader must possess.
Let's put it down there, intelligence.
But however, if the leader is much too intelligent than the follower, then it becomes difficult for the follower to follow the leader. So the leader must be intelligent than the follower, but not much more intelligent than the follower. So it is situation specific.
So he is introducing a new concept here. Huh?
So
Have
it
you?
should be it should be realistic.
No, one moment. This is a new concept he is saying. He is saying the leader may have all the traits, but he is bringing something else. from the environment, something called a follower. Okay? And here he is giving a hypothetical case. Why hypothetical? May be true that the follower is more intelligent. Intelligence being one of the traits which we have identified for leadership. Well, at least in that leadership trait, the follower has more intelligence than the leader. So he says that has some dynamics with the fact whether this leader can effectively lead if he has a whole bunch of followers, who are more intelligent than him. Do you think he'll have any problem then?
In my mind, the very important attribute of
I am
a leader-
allowing you to state your mind, but we should follow through these arguments.
That's what I'm
You are saying that? All right, good.
A
Carry on.
leader is never threatened by strength of his follower or his peers. If he's a leader, he should never be threatened by intelligence or superior intelligence of his followers.
Okay.
But he should be able to empathize with whatever he is trying to say, and integrating all these abilities and skills which we are talking. These makes a true leader. I mean, intelligence cannot be a sole criteria for deciding someone's leadership quality.
Any reactions to what he said? I thought it's quite insightful. Just to sum up what he said is a true leader, right? He is secure in his knowledge that overall, whether he's got one trait in which his follower is better than him, or 2 traits or 5 traits, he has something to contribute, all right? So, in our own Sanskriti, you have heard of the fact that a real guru is very, very pleased, a real guru, if his shishyas, or his chelas, reach a position of preeminence, and success in life, knowledge, maybe in the area of knowledge, than he himself. That is his true reward. You heard of that or not? Huh? Or the guru is competing with his chela?
So the true leader will use the abilities of his followers to his strengths, and that will add to his leadership qualities, and that will give him more strength. He won't feel threatened by a more capable
So
follower.
he doesn't feel insecure, isn't it? Doesn't feel insecure. So anyway, be that as it may, what Palash has brought out is, apart from trait which we discussed, there is another variable, and that is the, how will we say, situation, did you say? Environment.
So the follower, the individual follower, as well as the situation, I would say.
Okay, situation or environment, let us say. What else, if any? Any other component, huh?
Realistic.
You are talking about trait for a leader?
Yes.
We are finished with the trait for the time being, all right? But I can add it for your satisfaction so that you don't feel you are not contributed. I don't want you to feel deprived, so I'll add it. Huh? Realistic. All right, I'll add it. There is no reason why I should not add. Imaginative.
I think this is already covered in visions.
Sir, one point is not being covered.
The future, that then he is leading.
So what is the conclusion we are coming to? I told you, there are many overlapping areas. Many overlapping areas. Yes, Virat.
The most important trait is still missing.
Okay, come on, tell me.
Good communicator.
Communicator. Bravo. There are books written on it that the main role of the leader is communication. I have read at least 3 books on that during the time when I was in industry. Communication. So many people have so many theories, all right? And to some extent each is right. So communicator.
So can I say a related point might be sociability.
sociability, ability to do social networking, right? Network building. Yes, I accept that. Right or wrong? Sociability, I don't think what he means is just whining and dining. What he means is his ability to empathize with people, ability to win friends and influence people.
I believe it is a subset of communicative ability, apparently.
It may be a subset, yes, but does it not have a true place of its own, sociability, or it's just relegated to the realm of being a subset? We'll put it down. Sociability. Now, we come back to it. One is state, other is situation or environment. Okay, let's pause here for a bit, all right, and say all these things we have discussed for a leader, all right. Now, we have large number of companies, and we have large number of colleges and schools, business schools, which teach you business administration. And all the time in these books we hear the term manager, manager, manager. Okay, those who manage. So now, how would you kind of link up a leader and a manager? Manager. Is it the same? Is it same?
Leader is a broader term. A leader might be a leader of a corporation, of an army, of in the cricket field, anywhere. But a manager is more or less a corporation specific term.
Not necessarily. I am afraid you people don't agree with that. Can we say that a leader is not a manager? No? Can we say a manager is not a leader?
Yes.
We can?
Yes,
Huh? Manager is not manager. Manager. No, let's see. He need not be a leader. Let him say. Why do you say that? You mean he may be a sort of manager of systems, so he doesn't have to lead, basically. The leader is a CEO. Is that what you mean?
No, sir. I mean to say that all managers need not be leaders. You could have more of an executionary role.
Okay, that seems to make sense. So if all managers become leaders, then who will be the followers?
I disagree, sir.
I'll come to you. I'm coming to you. Okay, let's hear the disagreement.
Sir, in the specialist itself you've learned
Ah.
a manager has 4 functions, major functions.
Okay.
PLOE, plan, lead, organize and delegate. So lead comes in. So if he doesn't have that component in it, he's not a manager. So he cannot lead. One major component of a manager's role is not there.
Okay. So in short, what he's saying that a leader has to be a good manager in any case.
That I also agree.
But the manager cannot be a leader
No,
necessarily.
I'm not saying that. If the
Then-
manager can, if a manager is a manager, then he has to be a leader also.
Okay, let me throw one thought at you. See, managers are usually empowered by a circular. That is an executive directive. Right? You're in a company and you're assistant manager, and one day the boss calls you and says, look, you've done a good work and we think you've got a good future and all. I'm pleased to inform you that you're getting promoted with effect from 1st of next month. So what is in effect happening? It is judged by the powers that be, okay, the management of that company, that you are now going to be given the empowerment organizationally of being a manager. Okay. So managers are appointed. Are leaders appointed? Would anyone ever call you and say, look, I appoint your leaders? Oh, no? That's the thought I am trying to plant. Leaders make themselves, right? They make themselves, visible through various manifestations, acts, all right? And then they are accepted by a following. People then accept him. It's very curious. All of you will go out into companies and many of you will handle human relationships, all right? Part of which is also handling negotiations, settling disputes, all right, with unions. Union is a constituency. It is a constituency in the management firmament, is it not? And then when you handle unions, all right, you will be also dealing with the union leaders. And normally, it's a sobering thought. Union leaders are not appointed by anyone. They emerge from within the group of workmen. They have the blessings maybe if they are affiliated to external organization and all, but essentially they emerge. Whereas the managers, they are usually appointed, and appointed by due deliberations and judgment of their superior managers. But my experience at least is, man for man, if you look at the union and management negotiations, right, the union leaders are no less than the management. In fact, the experience is they are better leaders than the managers. They are better. So, what is now, you see, as we are discussing, one thing is surfacing, that we are not quite sure, that is there a difference? Okay, if there is a difference, all right, we feel there is a difference, but then what are the exact differences? Can you put all this in a compartment? What is a leader and what is a manager? It's a difficult kind of a situation, all right. So, let us for a moment look at please ask.
This is related to what Srivat's pointed out, the definition of a manager. He has worked in software companies. Correct me if I am wrong. There is a concept of project manager and a project leader. And in the software company's hierarchy, project manager comes under project leader. So, or is the other way around? Okay, fine. Okay, so project leader.
It may be company specific also.
Okay, no, I am just trying to convey my point. Project leader is working under project manager. Is it so?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why in this context, he is absolutely right that a manager has already become a leader.
Okay, but maybe the fallacy of this is we are trying to discuss generic meanings, whereas this is company specific. For instance, in a steel plant, this is a hoary tradition of steel industry. The superintendent and general superintendent, assistant superintendent, superintendent, general superintendent. General superintendent is a real big shot in a steel industry, traditionally, the world over. Whereas in the engineering industry, for instance, a superintendent is a fairly lowly functionary, You have the works manager above him, and you have the general manager, and you have the vice president manufacturing, and so on. So that is company specific. Okay? But then again, what is leadership? Historical research on leadership, we have been talking huge amount of research, and theories which have emerged, many theories. We have more or less discussed quite a few of these theories as we went along for the last, half an hour. Let's see what some of these are about. What is leadership and what is management? Now, all these are various scholars who have been researching in this area. They come to some conclusions which they publish, all right, and here is something which you may consider. John Coulter of Harvard Business School, this is what he says: coping with complexity and coping with change. That is leadership and managership. managers cope with complexities of business, and leaders, they cope with change. So what does it really mean? What is the focus here? Focus is, any business is complex in any case, per se it is complex. Managing a complexity, managing a business, managing means what? Implicit in managing is managing it well, and managing it well is defined as managing for fulfilling the objectives in a good fashion. And in the company setting, it is usually sales turnover, profitability, dividends that you are able to declare, right? Market share which you can control. These are various parameters of performance. Okay? But coping with change, that is what John Coulter says, that is where the difference comes. That is where the little difference between a competent manager and a leader. There is another view here, of Wharton School, providing vision, mission, strategy, and implementing strategy. Now tell me, who is supposed to provide vision, mission, and who is supposed to implement? Manager implements, and the leader provides the vision, mission, and strategy. That's another view. Okay? Any reactions to this?
What if the leader is hands-on and he implements it? I would say that he should.
So he is not a leader according to him,
Yeah.
unless he has also provided the vision and the mission. I suppose it's conceivable to have a leader who also is a hands-on kind of a person. I mean, he doesn't just think in his office and make mission statements and vision statements and strategic plans. He also has to do with some of the implementation aspects. It is conceivable, and as you well know, and as we said in the beginning, you cannot compartmentalize these work. If you sit down, one day in the life of a leader and one day in the life of a manager, and just with a stopwatch, you see in 8 hours what is both doing or what are both doing. You will find that there are always commonalities. Is it not? There is some implementation aspect which a leader also has to do. But this is what they say.
Another question is,
what would you like to do? Tell me. Krishna, I am asking. Would you rather be, according to the definition, a leader or a manager?
I would like to be both, according to this definition. I would like to be hands-on. I would like to, if at all allowed to, if I am to strategize, I would like to implement it also. And
what do you think you'll be good at?
that is for the results to determine and the people around to judge. I can't.
We talked about traits and so on, no?
Yeah.
Leadership traits.
So my question was that for that only. My question is leader only supposed to lead when a particular effort is being undertaken? Is it also possible that a leader can lead in following or see a leadership quality in someone else and step back and let that person take over at a particular time? Is that also
That's
leadership?
an interesting question. Now, chief coach, Mr. Narayan Murthy, would you say he is a leader today? He calls himself chief coach. We all have felt he is a great leader, is it not? He has built a great company, he has positioned it on the world stage. But today, he says, I really don't want to get into the implementation and so on. I just want to coach people, give the benefit of my experience and my insights and my learning to the other people in the company. Yeah?
So implementation, when it comes to it, I think it should be left with those who are expert in their different fields. What they are not probably capable of is seeing the holistic thing. which is the job of the leader. When he's saying providing vision, mission and strategy, absolutely right. When we talk about vision, you were talking about the same vision. Like how you see your strengths and where you want to go and how you are managing this thing. When it comes to implementation, probably you know on a broader level that this has to be done, but you might not have the necessary skills to get that thing to fruition. So it should be left.
So we are coming to the conclusion that anyway the lines are not cut and dried. You can't have a situation where a leader who is essentially a leader and he is providing leadership is not at all involved in implementation. Maybe you can't have that situation. And at the same time, all right, that there is a lot of commonality between these two roles of leadership. And these are two attempts by two gentlemen to try and make out the difference in nuances at least between the two roles. So the first talks of change and complexity. Complexity is very important to manage, so you need to have the ability to manage complexity. That is the leadership side. For Krishna said you can wear two hats, that's what he'd like to do. When the need is there, he would like to manage complexity, and if that means being a manager, so be it. But when the need comes to manage change, he would be also very happy to manage change, and he'll put on the change hat, right, and thereby assume the avatar of leader. And he says how he is judged, he leaves it to his followers and the world at large. I think that's a very balanced view. Okay? Now, here's something more, which people say. Leaders inspire, influence, shift paradigms, set directions, transform. And in a nutshell, they do the right things. This is what Mr. Satyaprakash Agarwal in his speech also, I think, said this. They do the right things. And managers plan, organize, formalize, accomplish goals, and in short, they do the things right. There is a need for both, I think. However, often in practice, no clear-cut differentiation can be made. This is what we have been also seeing, this is emerging. The crucial word here is clear-cut. There is no clear-cut. You can make some differences, but there always be overlaps, always. So, what is the conclusion we are coming to? That every leader has to have some amount of ability to cope with complexity, that is to manage real situations and organizations and companies. But he has to have, that is necessary, yes, necessary, but he has to have something more. I think he has to have something more. I think all this is finally coming to the conclusion that leader has to have something a little more than manager. Okay? Let's look at some of the definitions again. Now, this definition is applicable to contemporary managers. Now, contemporary may be defined as maybe the last 2 or 3 decades, since the information age came and there was a real change, a order of change in the way businesses have been run. The social construct of leadership is viewed as a myth that functions to reinforce existing social beliefs and structures about the necessity of hierarchy and leaders in the organizations. Read it twice because it's not an easy thing to understand, this definition. And then tell me what you think about this definition. Well, I'll tell you, contemporary views, some of them are quite radical. Some of the views which are coming now is basically there is no such thing as leadership. This is one view. This is what this whole phrase is trying to say. There isn't anything. It's a fiction of the imagination. It's a myth. What we have idolized and eulogized, all right, as leadership just isn't there. This is something which makes us feel good, man the social animal, makes us feel good. So we create a myth, and this myth functions to do what? How does it help us? To reinforce existing social beliefs, which are very near and dear to our heart, We have a Mai Baap, you have a Sarkar, you have a king, Raja, you have a great man. We like to believe in these things. Let's say it's an emotional crutch or it's a social crutch. We like to believe in all this. And therefore, we create this myth. That you must have a leader, and these are kind of leadership traits. You must respect him, he must be intelligent, he must be this, he must be that. Long list. We could create a list which is much longer than this. This is that view. So, we perpetuate this because social beliefs and structures about necessity of hierarchy and leaders in organization. These are things which we think are very near and dear to our heart. We like to perpetuate them. So we say you require a leader. So a leader is created. This is one view. All right. So as anyone read Alice in Wonderland? Huh? There's a phrase that things are getting curiouser and curiouser, We talk such a lot about leadership, it's a given. We accept that leadership is there. And then you have some people coming and saying, look, it's all a myth, nothing there at all. Now, here's another very, very important person, in organizational behavior. That is Warren Bennis. Now, he has a view, difference between managers and leaders. To survive, all these are contemporary definitions, remember. To survive in the 21st century, we are going to need a new generation of leaders. Okay? Leaders, not managers. He is emphasizing that. And he is talking of survival. That means he is ringing the death knell to all managers. Either be a leader or perish. You can't survive, isn't it? That's what he's saying. The distinction is an important one. Leaders conquer the context, right? The volatile, turbulent, ambiguous surroundings that sometimes seem to conspire against us and will surely suffocate us if we let them. So they conquer. And what do managers do? Whilst managers surrender to it. It is not a very complimentary picture which is painted about managers, no? So who would like to be a manager according to this definition in the new age? No one. You all have to be leaders. Yeah.
You explained the fact about managers, they surrender to this.
Yeah, it's a provocative kind of statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Managers surrender.
Is it trying to point the fact that managers try to work within constraints?
I don't think so. I think what he's saying is what he's meaning. That is, managers throw up their hands and say, look, we can't do it. We can't manage. the environment is so tough, we just can't manage it. We want someone else to come and do it for us. I think that's what he means. So, how many agree with this? Any takers for this definition? Once more? All right. Yeah. So, all of us disagree basically with this definition. Is that so? You agree with it? Devash, tell us why.
The current business environment is sometimes so complex that managers who are basically concentrating on day-to-day life, day-to-day working of the business, they give up. And there are some managers who emerge out of this situation and perform among all odds. Then I would like to name those type of managers as leaders.
They qualify as
One is limiting yourself to the known constraints. The other is trying to remove those constraints. So managers are supposed to think out of the box and should be able to find out means by which he can remove those constraints, and instead of being bound by the constraints and optimize on the basis of those constraints. It is trying to say that the context should also be under the control of the person. You should not take the context as given.
So but I think it is more a problem of semantics, because in an organization, certain managers who are doing day-to-day work might develop into leaders as they face a certain turbulent environment.
Sure.
So basically the line of distinction becomes blurred between managers and leaders as the definition goes of what it is.
Yeah, but there seems to be an underlying difference. There seems to be an underlying difference. That manager is not equal to a leader. Does it? There seems to be. All this research, all this. And as I see it, it seems that it is necessary to be a manager to manage a company successfully, right? A good manager. But that doesn't necessarily qualify you to be a great leader or a good leader. That's the kind of thing which is coming out. And people, of course, like to put it in various dramatic ways, to drive home the point. No, I don't mean that. I don't mean that. As I said, these things are told in certain dramatic ways, to highlight a point. And the point being that there is more to a leader than a good and a very competent manager. There's something extra. That's something which is difficult to lay your finger on, but which we try to define with many attributes or traits, that he should possess this, he should have that, he should do this. We try to. Why? Because constantly we have a sense of unease to accept that there is no difference between a manager and a leader. Because in our mind's eye, a leader is something which is a little more than what a very good manager does. I mean, that is what I think is the essence of what all these people are trying to bring out. And constantly they are searching for the holy grail. I mean, one day can they do that alchemy, find out what really is the difference. Now, if you do it, it's fantastic. Then you can simulate it and create so many leaders. There are so many leadership trainings also, trying to train leaders with varying degrees of success. Here's another article in Fortune which makes a bold statement. What does it say? When you boil it all down, contemporary leadership seems to be a matter of aligning people towards common goals and empowering them to take the actions needed to reach them, to reach the goals. It says it all boils down to that. Now you call it a leader, you call it a manager, you call it anything. It just boils down to that. Aligning people. Leadership is that. Now implicit in that word aligning, there is a wealth of meaning in it. How do you align people? Do you have to inspire them? Do you have to empathize with them? So these are the various traits which come out then. It's not easy to align everyone. And when he says everyone, he means in the organization, by and large, in the team. To start with the top management team, if you have a CEO, it's not easy to align all your direct reports, who may be functional heads, vice presidents of finance and so on. Not easy to align them. So he says this is leadership. Aligning people to what? Towards a goal, one goal, and then empowering them. Again, this phrase, empowering, has a hidden meaning. That means it's accountability. Empowering means by the same token of empowering you, I make you accountable, do I not? That I empower you to carry out these tasks, to achieve this and accomplish this goal. But the hidden meaning there is, now look here, I am going to call you one day and say, what have you done? Have you been able to do it? So accountability also. Yeah? To take actions to need. Empowering them to take action also implies that the leader is providing resources. Does it not imply that? And hand in hand goes the accountability. Okay? Now, I think, yes, tell me.
Article, it defines the leadership in a very narrow role. That means there is a common goal. It doesn't speak about how we come to that common goal. Who defines that common goal? And a leader is supposed to, a leader should be one who raise those common goals to such a height that revolutionary achievements are happening. I was reading an article by Gary Hamel. It says that in today's world, the companies who are succeed are this type of leaders won't succeed. The people who actually bring about revolution in thinking, in setting these new goals, will succeed in the world of tomorrow's business.
Yes. Any comments on that? What Deva said? He says it's too narrow. It's too narrow. But then he said in lighter vein, boils down to it. You start boiling milk, and ultimately you are left with little khoa, no, at the end. What he says is, lot can be said about it, but the point is that you align people, empower them, all right, to accomplish the goal and vision and mission which you have set. That is leadership. Okay. Now, we have finished one class, so I would suggest we take 5 minutes break, right, and then we will reconvene, because research has also shown that your concentration will start flagging, all right. I already see some people are nodding off, here, who will be asked to make a presentation in the second session, so that the thinking process starts, okay.